Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tessie and today we're going to be recreating something like this. If it's your first time, you're welcome. If you're here to subscribe, kindly do that and let's get right into the video. So guys, I have my pattern paper here and I have my lines sketched out. I have my shoulder line, chest line, bust point line, under bust, my waist and then the bust. So for the bust, I came down from the waist by 5 inches for my bust. For the neckline, I'm making use of 3.5 inches by 3 inches and I curved in the neckline and also curved in the armhole. So the nipple to nipple I'm working with is 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. Added half inch to it, that's 4. So I'm going to chalk 4 inches all the way down and then connect it into a straight line. So the next thing I'm doing is checking what I have at that shoulder area. So you check what you have here and you divide it into 2. What I had was 5 inches divided by 2 will give me 2.5. Then I'll chalk it at that point and then connect my lines together. So what I'll be doing next is taking in the darts. At the underboss, I'm going to be making use of 1 inch on both sides. Then I'll connect it all the way down. Then from the under bust, I'll connect to my bust point line, coming down by half inch to eliminate pointiness around the bust. So after doing that, what I'll be doing next is coming down to where I want my yoke to start from. So it depends on your preference. So from the shoulder, I came down to 7 inches. That's where I want the yoke to start from. So at that point, I'll come in here by half inch and also come in here by half inch. Then I'll connect it to the bust point line coming up by half inches to eliminate pointiness. So after connecting my curve at the bust point line, I'll come in here by half inches. And then from that half inches point, I'm going to connect it to the under bust line using my curve ruler. So what I'll do next is to curve from here to that half inch area. So I'll use my curve ruler to do that. So we're good to go with this side of the cup. For the second cup, I'll check what I have from the bust point to my under bust. So I use my tape to check whatever you have, add extra half inch to it. I had 2.5, I added half inch to it, that's 3 inches. So I'm going to connect from that point to the under bust line. Then from this point, I'll connect it all the way up. So we're good to go. From here, I'm just going to blend it into my armhole. So guys, you know the neckline is going to be deeper. It's a deep illusion neckline. So at the bust point line here, at that half inch, I'm just going to use my ruler to take it down a bit. So it depending on where you want your neck to stop. So I want mine to stop at the under bust. So I'm going to take it deeper a bit. So hope you understand. So we're good to go. I'll label this as my yoke and then label this as my cup 1 and then cup 2. I'll label this part as the up so you don't get confused and label the down as my down part and then the arrows, that's where we'll be joining. We'll be joining cup 1 and cup 2 together. So I'll take out the areas I'll be taking off. And then we are good to go. We'll place our measurement and then replace back the dart we took. So at the chest line, my bust divided by 4, I replaced back the dart I took and I also added 2 inches for my sewing allowance. At the waist, my waist divided by 4, replaced back the dart and added 2 inches and then connect my lines together. So guys, what we'll be doing next is working on the bust. So to do that, I'm just going to close my dart. So go ahead, close your dart this way and then from the waistline, I'm going to connect it down to the bust area. So what I'll be doing next is working on the bust dart. For the bust dart, at the bust area, I'll come down by 1 inch. So I came down here by 1 inch and then I'll connect that line all the way down to the bust area. Then I'm going to be taking this area, I'll be taking it off. So guys, we're good to go with the front. I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern, so just watch closely. So guys, if you've watched the video to this point and you're yet to subscribe or like this video, kindly do that and let's get right back. So guys, at the bust point area, I'm just going to cut out the dart and then use my paper tape to hold it in place and trim out the excess, and then I'll be cutting out my cups. Hope you understand. So guys, for the back, I'm not going to be adding zip to it. In case you're adding zip to yours, just chalk out your zip allowance line before chalking out your back measurement. Since I'm not adding a zipper to mine, I just have my measurement here. So at the starting point, I have my shoulder divided by 2, my chest line. I place my bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches. At the waist, my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So guys, since I'm not going to be adding zip to it, I'm going to be adding loop at the back. So I'll take out 2 inches from my back measurement. So I chalked 2 inches and connected it into a straight line. So I'm going to take out this area. I'll be taking it off, and my loop is going to be at this side of the pattern. So I'll go ahead now to connect my neckline all the way down. So I'll label this as my back yoke, and this is my pattern for the back. So I'll go ahead now to cut out my yoke, and we're good to go with the back. So guys, I'm going to be making use of a crepe and then adding a skin net to it to give us that corset mesh vibe. It's not all clients that want their skin showing, but they want that vibe of like it's my skin, yeah, but it's not my skin vibe. So I'm going to be making use of this crepe and then adding a net to it to give us that corset mesh vibe. So guys, if you want to try this, you can buy a skin toned crepe, that's your skin tone crepe, and a matching net, and then you just add them together. So I'll go ahead now to cut out my pattern. So guys, when cutting out the pattern, you leave half inches all around for joining allowance. So guys, after cutting out my pattern, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So I've gone ahead to add my paper stay on my pattern. So I doubled my paper stay just to make it a bit thicker. Then I'll be joining my fabric together. So guys, for the cups, I do not want to use a crepe, so I had to cut the lace fabric. So these are my cups. I added paper stay on my cups, as you can see, and it's very important you notch. So we're going to be joining cup 2 and cup 1 together. So that notch part, you join them together this way, and then you stitch using half inch. So you're joining cup 1 and 2 together, cup 1 and 2 together at the notch line. So guys, I'm going to be adding my bias on the fabric. So you choose wherever you want your bias to be. So I'm just going to use my chalk to chalk out where I want, where or how I want my bias to be. After chalking out my lines, I'll place my bias on the lines and then stitch the bias on the fabric. So guys, I've joined my cup. This is what it looks like, as you can see. So what I'll be doing next is adding my already made cup to it. I'm just going to fold it into 2 and then stitch the down part just a bit. So after stitching, I'll place it in and then stitch my cup on the fabric all around. So I'll do the same thing for this other cup. I'm going to place it and then stitch my fabric to the cup. So guys, after doing that, this is what it looks like, as you can see. So guys, for the crepe, I've added my bias on it, as you can see. So this is what it looks like. So I've gotten the skin net that matches the skin tone of my client. So I'm just going to fold it into 2 and then fold my crepe into 2 as well and place it on the skin net. So I'll go ahead now to cut out what I have here. So I'll cut it out and then open it up and then place my net on it this way. So I'll go ahead now to stitch it together using the matching thread. So guys, I've cut and joined my lining. So I'm going to be adding my boning on the lining because the bias I added on the front was too small for my boning to pass through. So the boning is going to be on the main lining. So I'll go ahead now to add my cups together. After adding the cups together, this is what it looks like. I did the same thing for the lining piece as well. So this is what my cups look like. So I'll go ahead now to attach my yoke to it. I'll notch the middle part of my yoke and then carefully stitch the yoke to the cup. After doing that, I'm going to be adding my lining to it. So I add my lining and then carefully stitch the lining with the cup and the yoke together. So after doing that, this is what it looks like. I'll attach my boning to it, and then for the back, I cut out 6 inches As you can see, we have 6 inches on fold. I have 2 pieces on fold. It will be 3 inches. So I'm just going to attach it at the back, the area where the loop is going to be, and stitch it neatly. I'll do the same thing for this other side as well. I'll stitch and then cut out the excess. So I'll attach my yoke to it as well. After attaching my yoke to it, I'm going to add my lining to the back as well. I added my boning. I'm so sorry guys, this is a bit fast. I'll stitch and then do the same thing for the back. I added the loop, as you can see, and I'll go ahead now to stitch it to the down part of the dress. I'll stitch it to the down part as well. Then for the front, I've cut out the bust. I have a video on how to do that, so I'll go ahead now to attach the front and the back together. Stitch the shoulder using 1/2 inch on both sides. For the sleeve, I folded my fabric into 4, chalked out the length of my sleeve, used my free hand to cover out my armhole. Then I used my tape to cross-check if I was on the right track, and then took my round sleeve measurement and then shaped my sleeve. So I'll go ahead now to cut out the sleeve. So after cutting out the sleeve, I've attached my sleeve to the dress. I'll join both the front and the back together. So guys, we are good to go, and this is the end result after adding the stones to the dress. This is it. It just needed a little fitting around the shoulder area. The net was too big around that part. I'm going to do that later, but this is what it looks like. Hope this tutorial was helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys in my next class. Bye.